Greetings, people of the internet! It is I, a Canadian fangirl, here with a technically late episode, but it's been a weird day yesterday. I just didn't have a good opportunity to record, but I'm back. This is an episode that I was going to kind of record in advance, but those plans fell through because I'm not on vacation this week. Like, Jasper's burning, I can't be on vacation. Jasper. Alright. So, this episode has actually been on my mind since I did my MCU tier list a couple weeks back. And, I don't know, when I was rewatching all the Marvel movies, this thought came to my mind. The Eternals is not a good film. It is a failed experiment of a movie, and once to say I see what they wanted to do with the Eternals, it just didn't work. So, I'm gonna spend this episode talking about what I would do to fix the Eternals. Like, what would make it a slightly better film that it probably wouldn't have received the attention that it did, and probably would have gotten better praise. It's like, I'm just doing this, for lols. I'm not an expert, so that being said, if anyone from Disney or Marvel is listening, any of this shows up, I want residuals. Or contact me, I want running credit if you use any of this. Not gonna happen, but anyway. The one thing I think we could do to fix the Eternals, and this is really a weird nitpick, trim half an hour out of the film. The Eternals is 2.5 hours. It is probably the longest, okay, not the longest, because I think Wakanda Forever is like 15 minutes longer, but that film I think has an excuse for why it's so long. It's like, that film at least the length works enough. This film, I don't think needs to be 2.5. Trim half an hour out of the Eternals, I think this would have been a much tighter script. Like, everything goes on for this way too long. Cut certain scenes, trim it up nice and tight, and I think it would have been a more, not coherent per se, but I don't know, tightly written? I guess that's the word I want to use. I don't know. Is that? So, I'm just gonna kind of go through the entire movie and talk about the changes I would have made to the Eternals to make it seem like a more tightly written script. I'm gonna, shorten scenes. I'm gonna cut characters. We're gonna, write it in a way that it would have made the movie still make sense on its own, but there's still material if they wanted to explore the Eternals. Okay, signal 1. The Eternals. Who at Marvel thought that was a good idea for a movie in Phase 4? Who was the guy who was like, yeah, they're making the Eternals a big screen, I'm so hyped! Yeah! It's like, yeah. Who knew who the Eternals were before the movie? Be honest with yourselves, and tell me if you knew exactly who the Eternals were. And don't Google the Eternals in any comment. I know exactly who they are. You know the truth. Who knew them? Who really was an Eternals fan before the movie? Which is probably why they wanted to make the film, because they're like, well, no one knows who these kids are, so we could experiment them. It's like, really? I don't know. It seemed like it was kind of stretching for a Marvel movie. And I get why they attached Chloe Zhao to direct. Because, she's a good director, attached to a Marvel film, see if she can bring her magic to that. And it works because she is a well-known indie director. Most of her films prior to the Eternals were lower budget, small cast, small crew films. So, obviously, everyone wants to, get on a project where you have a bigger budget, you have more cast, you have more crew, you can experiment more. I don't think it was a good transition for her, because how do you go from No Man Land to Eternal? It seemed like a big jump on everyone's part. I'm not criticizing her director. I think she's really good. I've seen a few indie films, and I like what direction she took with the Eternals. Again, failed experiment. So blah blah blah. Enough talking. Let's get to my changes. So, how would I open it? I would still open the film in 5000 BCE with the ancient fishermen. I would still have the opening. They'll out. They'll fishing, and then a deviant attacks. These people are panicking. They're running. People are trying to escape being attacked by deviant. Then you see something attack. It goes flying, and it goes down. The people turn. The smoke is lighting up. You see silhouettes of them. You see silhouettes of people approaching through the dust crowd. Cut the black. You cut before you reveal them. Build up that intrigue. I think that would be a strong opening. Where it's like, wait, who are they? Who are those people? What do they do? What are these deviant? Instant intrigue. You then cut to modern day. Modern day in the MCU, because Endgame played with the timeline because it's technically now 5 years in the future. But whatever. I'm not gonna get. You cut the London, and you cut the Sophie. I think the main character should still be Sophie, because you build the movie around her character, it will be a lot more interesting. You have her maybe walking to work. She works at she still works at a museum. She's like teaching antiquities and ancient artifacts to the people who come in, and she's giving them information about the history and stuff. Blah blah blah. You have her come in. She's giving a lecture about some ancient Mesopotamian pot, and I would have a coworker making jokes about I know, it's like, wow, you were so good with ancient history. So you lived it. And she give a wry smile, like, yeah. A lot of studying. I'm like, okay, change number 2. Cut, what's the name? Dane? Okay, Kit Harington character, cut him out. It's like, I get they wanted Kit Harington in the MCU. Cut him here. That character had maybe 3 scenes, and outside of the end credit scene where they're setting him up for Black Knight, not important. Cut him. You don't need him in this movie. It's like, you don't, there's enough with Thursday that you don't need that character. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You don't have to do this. I thought this might be interesting. Put a Moon Knight cameo in the on the museum. What's his name? Merc. I thought it might be a fun cameo because Moon Knight was coming out at the time. So it's that might have been fun. Maybe Merc shows up. It's oh, I think you don't have to do anything with it. I thought it might be interesting to have him there. And again, because Moon Knight is a really obscure. People probably wouldn't know you were setting that up, particularly if you don't do anything with Moon Knight. Maybe he's talking about just mythology of Cersei. That would go nowhere, but I thought if you wanted to tease something, that would be a fun tease. And then you have something be like, I know what they're setting up there. Or did set up. I can't remember if Moon Knight was before or after the Eternal, but whatever. Well, I have one of a coworker maybe invite her out for drinks that night, and so she turns them down because she has plans, or she has other plans. And she's talking with a coworker, maybe pull the camera back, make it look like she's being watched, and then cut to that night and she's walking home. She's walking home, and then a deviant attacks her. Split second, she uses the power to basically trap it and then runs. As she's running, the deviant's chasing her. She's trying to, escape it. And then Lady comes out of nowhere, attacks the deviant. She turns. Here comes Icarus flying in. Icarus basically fights off the deviant, enough that maybe it ends up and runs away. And then Icarus turns to Lily like, hey, hi. Like, I want to have it that maybe they're not broken up. Like, they weren't together, but they were still in a relationship. Like, maybe they never technically broke up, but over the millennium, they, went, they, went two different directions to explore, more of the world, but they were still together. I would also kind of use this moment for them to, like, kind of talk, maybe, because, ask her, like, you seeing anyone? I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I would have this scene in like a little cafe and talking and kind of building character, and then Cersei points out like that was a deviant. I thought we destroyed them all, and then Nicholas points out like I don't know what's happening. It's like, and then Cersei points out, well, we should find the others and talk about what's going on. And you have maybe you can point out like, well, we all went our separate ways. I don't know what everyone is. And then Cersei points out like, oh, but Ajax will probably know where people are. Then I'd have them getting on, like maybe sitting on a plane about, because maybe Ajax points out on Ajax. Icarus points out that he knows that Ajax is firm and America for the name. And maybe they talk about a little more history, and then I would also use that part as they're on the plane, maybe they're getting cozy, to flashback to that scene in Babylon when they have sex for the first time, and the start of the relationship, because it's a good scene, and I would keep the movie PG-13. I think Mobile needed that. Keep it PG-13. Put a sex scene. I think that would work to show exactly how the relationship started. And I'm sure you know the thing. I didn't mention Scout. I'm cutting Scout. You don't need it right now. Like I'll explain more. I'll explain more when we get to the end when I go over that. But Scout doesn't need to be with Cersei at the beginning. You get back. They show up on Ajax property. They walk into a house. It's kind of in disarray. Show signs of a struggle. They walk out back, and Ajax dead. Cersei immediately goes to the side, mourns Ajax death. Icarus maybe stands over her with his kind of unreal expression on his face. We'll get to that. And at that moment, while they're mourning, Ajax power to connect with Alyssum, the big celestial dude they work for, transfers from Ajax to Cersei, and Cersei had her first conversation with celestial dude. She comes out of it, turns to Icarus, is like, Ajax power, I just talked to celestial guy. And Icarus is like, Ajax must have chosen you to take on her task. Yeah, so what do we do? You're in charge now. Maybe, and then, I'd have them, maybe be like Ajax off screen. And then I'd have them maybe sitting around, like, maybe Ajax dining table of the house, and Cersei basically, like, maybe she's, like, drinking tea. Like Icarus and she's like, I think first things first, we have to figure out why the deviants are back. And we need to find the other tunnels. Where are they? If we don't know and we can't ask Ajax, what do we do? And at that moment, I had them realize that maybe Ajax was keeping tabs on the other tunnels, and I'd have the two of them pouring over like files of like the other tunnels. And this is where we kind of get some information about The other channel is like Gilgamesh and Athena off grid on like a cabin in Australia. Like, well, maybe we don't contact them. Last time we saw Athena, if she was going to some stuff, it's like, okay, their plan B. We won't go to them yet. Like, oh, I found Kingo. He's in India working on a Bollywood film. And then I read you the joke. Well, Icarus picked up the phone, called the studio that Kingo's looking at, and the phone like, hello, we want to speak to. Well, what do you mean close set? And then the phone hangs up. Like, would be a funny bit, and you don't need that character. I think. I'm gonna get this guy. I'm gonna get his name wrong, but I think he's a great actor. I really like him in the role. I'm cutting him. Yeah, like how I'm also cutting Cena and Gilgamesh. You don't need them right now. Save them for later. So after maybe the phone scene, Cersei finds information on Falsus. It's like Falsus. He's like Falsus is right here in America. He's the smart one. He'll know what's going on. And then have them get in a truck and drive to Falsus is living, and meanwhile in the truck, I think, point out this is gonna be a tough call. Last time we talked to, I saw Falsus. He was reeling from something he caused, and then I would still keep the scene from Falsus, looking over the dam with the atomic bomb. I think that's a well done scene of Falsus realizing like I gave them knowledge, and this is what they did. We shouldn't be doing this to humans. It's a well done scene, and I think it would set up who he is as a character. So keep that, and then I would cut to the house of Falsus living. I'd keep his situation saying he's still in the garage fixing his son's bike. He has a husband. He has a son. Cersei and Icarus walk up. Maybe the kid waves. They're like, "Hi!" And Falsus looks up. Cersei points out, like, "Oh, we're old friends of Falsus." They shake hands with the husband. Falsus walks up. It's like, "And you guys want to go inside? I'm gonna talk to my friend." They go inside. Falsus turns up. It's like, "What do you guys want?" They talk a bit, maybe show some character, and then Cersei brings up, we won't come for anything. I was attacked by a deviant. It seems they're back. Ajax is dead. Have that be like, wait, what? No, that can't be possible. Maybe as they're talking about deviants, you cut basically something moving in an alley, and then as they're talking, someone screams. You look, a deviant attacking in downtown. Icarus immediately flies off to deal with it. Cersei pauses for a second, looks over at Icarus, looks back to Falsus, is like, I know we're not, the most adept at fighting, but these people need us. What our job is to take out everything. We have to do what we have to do this, and then runs off to go land Icarus a hand. Falsus maybe lingers for like a second, turns back to look at his family through the window. Cut to battle scene. Icarus, and then I have maybe two deviants. Icarus flies off. Icarus is in a battle with one. Another deviant basically stalking towards a bunch of civilians. Cersei uses the power with the deviant from the civilians to basically aid in evacuation, how to get these people to run. As she's doing that, this deviant basically stalks towards Cersei. It's about to attack her, and then you see something come and immobilize the deviant. We look, Falsus basically showing up with his weapon. Probably something he made. I'm not gonna go into the details of the fight thing. I don't know. I don't have a good. I'm not good with that. It's immobilized just long enough for Falsus and Cersei to basically help the rest of the civilians escape. The deviant Icarus is fighting runs off. Maybe got injured. Icarus basically comes out of nowhere and then kills the deviant that Falsus immobilized. As the fight ends, Falsus points out, alright, so the deviants are back. The three of us are lining up Now I have a family now. If I want to keep, if we want to keep, these people safe, we have to basically, we have to do something. Will the other deviants, Sophie and fellas go over, they'll brief, and all of the people of who they know is out. The people we always talked about, or not, or we named up the deviants. The people we don't know where they are. So we named up the others, and they talk about what to do next, and what someone brings up. What about Druid? With I'd have, I don't know, maybe Falco basically points out, it's like, I think last time we saw him, he wandered up to the Amazon forest to protect a bunch of people. To protect one of the people after we had a falling out back. I wouldn't show that, we don't need it, because I think you don't need to show that scene, but it's a quick mention of it, oh yeah, he's here. And then have the next scene, them going to the Amazon. I'm the point that's out here, the Amazon scene, I'm kind of like 15 minutes out of it. I think that scene in the jungle is way too long. It is way too long. You can cut like I'm cutting a lot out of it. So I literally have them walking through the jungle. They kind of come to be a guard who basically asks them what they're doing here. Like, we're friends of Druid. We want to see him. Like, we're friends of Druid. We want to see Druid. How do you know Druid? Oh, well, old friend. You get the chill scene where they meet Druid again for the first time. Well, they tell him demons are back, and we have to do something. We tell him, you'll tell me they're dead, but he thought it was because like, oh no, I'm fine. We'll safe here, and I can protect my people. I'd have to simply point out, there's a lot of generations in this forest here. You don't have enough power to protect them all. If we team up, we'll better equipped to basically help them all. Druid will blow them off, walks out. We don't have the Druid sucks line because I cut Kingo. I don't know. I'd have maybe a couple of small scenes. Like, I'd have maybe, like, Fowles basically, interacting with a couple of the people, like, helping them, like, make a primitive tool. Druid walks up, and they maybe talk about, the wonders of the people of this planet, and how they're so intuitive and amazing. A little bonding scene for them. Then I'd have maybe Susie, sitting alone, just, kind of admitting. Icarus comes up, they talk a bit, and this is the thing I really think would be interesting. At that moment, Susie gets contacted by Elisham, Celestial dude, and she basically goes to the area to talk to him, and he's basically telling her the true notion of their plan about how the Celestial on Earth is ready to be born, all that, true over to them, true over the deviants. And the other thing, as she's having this conversation, maybe you cut back to what's going on. She's like in a trance as she's talking to Alyssum, and then a couple of deviants attack in the forest. Icarus rushes off to basically remove one deviant from the area to basically lessen the odds, as Fowler and Druid are basically mobilizing a second deviant to basically, have the people evacuate. And I want to do this thing because it would be a cool juxtaposition between healing about the troopers of the deviants where you see an actual attack on them, and you cut back and forth between the explanation of what the deviants are and you actually see what they're doing. And, so you're basically getting both. You're having someone explain the true purpose of what's happening, and you actually seeing it happen, which I think would be a really cool scene. And then, have it end with Cersei realizing, wait, millions have to die for the birth of one Celestial for billions to live? That seems like really high. Isn't there a way to save the people of this planet? Back and forth sale, create conflict. Cersei basically called Alyssum out being like, this is all we've done, and basically why I can't stand for this. Ends the call, but she can't focus on it too much because people are being attacked, so she runs to help Felton and Druid take care of the second deviant. I still have the scene where Susie falls in the water and turns the Druid into a tree. Because I think that's a cool scene. It's an explanation on Susie's power. Particularly at that moment, if she just found out what happened, that'd be a good acceleration for her character. So she turns into a tree, and she comes out. I would have Druid and Felton, looking at her kind of, with a shock expression, and have Druid be like, "When the hell have you been able to do that?" She gets like a dry ass as a chuckle, like, and then I'd have it imply there that she's going to tell them what's happening, because then I would immediately cut to Icarus' fight with the Druid. No, not the Druid. Deviant. Icarus fight with the Deviant. It gets into the runs off. Point to the Deviant. I'm not having the Super Smoke Deviant, the one that was talking, because that was a really pointless addition that did nothing. And also, if I'm cutting Gilgamesh, we don't need his death, so you don't need that scene. So, Icarus is going to come back, see the group, be like, "Are you guys okay?" I'd have people be like, "Oh yeah, no, we're fine." Slowly turn into a tree. Pan, see the tree. Icarus gives like a kind of a, "Oh, what do you know?" kind of look. And then Faust is basically, with the knowledge that Susie told him and Druid what she found out from Celestial Dude, basically summarizes what they were just told to Icarus. He's gonna look nonplussed. They're gonna realize, "So all we're doing is bullshit. There's gotta be a way to, as Susie points out, there's gotta be a way to delay the awakening of the Celestial in order to help the people, millions of people on Earth live, because they all like the people on Earth." Much like in the original movie, I keep Susie seeing if Druid can basically be put to sleep with his power. Druid would be like, "Well, not for something that big." And as I will point out, "Well, if I could get to my lab, I could probably build something that will basically amplify all powers." They go to their ship, and I can't remember the name of the character, the fast girl. I don't remember her name, but she was on the ship. I'm gonna cut her because she didn't do enough for the plot. And you don't need her. But I would still make a joke that she's still on the ship. But as they get on, they find a note saying, "Back in 15, gone to get bagels." And like, "Should we wait? We'll be done. We'll be done before she gets back." Like, that'd be a funny scene. Yeah, Faust is as Faust is building a device, I'd have Susie send Icarus out to basically look around to see where the Celestial is going to emerge. He finds it. They head to that beach, and as they're about to sync up their powers to basically try to put the deviant to sleep, they all band together. The four of them band together to fight the deviant. So now this climax has been taken clock of. They have to finish off the deviant quickly before the Celestial wakes up, because it can wake up any minute. And the deviant is killed. They sync up, and then through a combination of maybe Druid and Susie's powers, I do kind of like what they do with Susie in the end of the movie. Druid technically kind of puts it to sleep, but Susie also uses that power, and she does turn to stone still. But I think that'd be cool. It's not coming out of the ocean. I think that's dumb. Like, you don't need that. You don't need that, because that's probably not going to be explained. Well, but I doubt. So it's not coming out of the ocean. That's under the sea, like kind of about to lift. So it'll be like some undersea rock. So I have no idea. But whatever. The assault is taken care of. And as the film wraps up, they said that it's like, "All right, so it's asleep. We have to figure out how, we have to safely figure out where we can protect all these people before it wakes up again, not knowing that technically Sophie killed it. I would say that maybe Sophie killed it, but they don't know that. They still think Druid, temporarily put it to sleep and it'll wake up in a couple hundred years. And then I would have them point out, well, first things first, we have to find the others and tell them exactly the truth. And at that moment, I'd probably have the camera kind of, get a kind of pan of like the other tunnel we haven't seen yet, and have them point out that, we'll do that. Maybe Drew is gonna stay at the ship, and like I'll wait for what's her name and tell her what's gonna happen. Maybe cut to her like in New York buying bagels. I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be funny if we see what's her name and she's like buying New York bagels. Like that'd be a good punch. That'd be a good punch on that joke. I'd have maybe Falcon will look for Scout. I'd have maybe show Scout like maybe in a field overlooking a playground with kids playing and like a bunch of adults sitting nearby, and she's like looking between the two of them, which would be interesting. Cersei asks Icarus to go talk to Kingo, who's maybe on a Bollywood set, and then Cersei's gonna head out and find Athena and Gilgamesh, and I would maybe show them maybe Gilgamesh is giving Athena a cup of tea. Movie ends. For post-credit scene, have Elisam the Celestial overlooking them, being like, they killed a Celestial. I'm gonna be watching them very closely to see what they do from now on. End cut. Now, that being said, would this make the movie better? Well, honestly, for me, yes. I think it would have a good amount of intrigue and mystery and drama and comedy that I think it would do well. Will it be a masterpiece that will be on par with other things that Marvel has done? I don't know. But I think it would be interesting. I think by cutting... The Eternals have a lot of characters, and so I cut the one that you technically don't need in a film. You didn't need Scout. You can save her whole issues for a second film, bringing up her connection to Icarus, her angst at always being, considered always being a child. You can bring that up for a second film. You can kind of hint at that final scene that's her looking at a playground or like the adult. Like, which I think would be a really good thing of that character without fully spelling it out. I get, because Cena is played by Angelina Jolie, who was probably the biggest name in the movie, why she was in the film so much. The thing is, Cena and Gilgamesh kind of don't need to be there. Like, the film crowded enough already. Cena's plotline is another plotline. It's like, save that for another film. There's already so much in this film. It's like, you don't need that. You don't need Gilgamesh's death, because it's like, you don't really know the character enough to really feel bad for when he dies. Save them for later. Although, if you show him later, like, hey, we got Angelina Jolie, she'll show up eventually, which I think would be really cool and probably guarantee that the next film will probably be a hit. She'd probably be first bill, but whatever. And, again, the other girl, I never remember her name, because, one, she's deaf, so they don't say her name enough, because she's barely in the movie. I like, cut it, make it a joke that she went to get bagels. And like, that would be really funny. Particularly, like, when they get bagels and she sped off to New York to buy bagels. Like, that would be really funny. And you don't need her in the movie, because she's in 2 scenes. And again, Kingo is great. He and his little partner, the Asian guy, are basically just the comic relief. And it's not that funny. Not in the climax. You could cut it from the film entirely, and you would make a thing. And, like, you don't need a Bollywood scene in the movie. Like, that was just way too much for like, you don't need that. Again, make it a joke that they try to call up the studio, and it's like, oh, close set, hang up. Like, that would be funny. And again, I talked about Canadian Scandal, but like, so the characters you would keep is Sophie, Faustus, Druid, and Icarus, and technically Ajax, because you technically need. Because here's the thing, the stuff with Icarus and Ajax, I'd cut that flashback. You don't need to see the scene with Icarus, and I'd save that for another film to be a big reveal for like a second Eternal film. But you can hint at it early by having Icarus not say much for most of the film, with his really unknowable, unreadable expression on his face, particularly like when he's like looking over Ajax's body when Cersei's mourning. Have him with an unreadable expression where he's like, "What's going on with him? What's he thinking?" It's like, is he like, is he also mourning her death? Is he responsible for murder? Like, what's going on behind his mind? Which I think would be like way more intrigue, particularly because he's not going to go against Cersei and the others if he's outnumbered, because he's not going to fight for himself on his own. If I could take him, but it's like he's going almost one kind of on his own, particularly because him and Cersei are technically still together. Maybe he's not going to do anything to really, upset her. And he knows, well, this is what we have to do. But if Cersei is, so attached, I'm not going to, hurt her feelings, that hard. Because if Cersei's the main character, she's going to create a great centerpiece for the whole movie, which I think would work. And then you would have Druid and Faustus that basically kind of having their own, piece. Well, they also kind of agree, like, we want to protect humanity, because both of them basically have a connection to the people of Earth. Like, they don't want to see it destroyed. So if they're backing up Cersei's plan, Icarus is going to have to go along with it, which I think would be a lot more interesting in the long run. Again, you don't need to do some deviant. And again, is this film will it make a good film? Hard to say. Will it be better than what we got? 90%, yeah. I think complete everyone with this rewrite? Probably not, but I think this would be a better film. So, yeah, that's how I would fix the Eternals. It would be a shorter runtime. It would be tighter. I think it would, inject a little bit more humor, make kind of a little bit more natural. I sped through a lot of it because it's like a lot of the things I did kind of like, and it's like I don't know how to. I'm not gonna talk about fight scenes because okay, like a demon attack, like that will be like on the guide who will make in the. Well, this is me generally going over my thoughts. But yeah, thanks for listening to this episode of How I Would Fix the Eternals. This is actually a really fun thought process for me, and I really like it, so maybe I'll do it again. Like, it's another movie that I think needs to be fixed. So, thanks for listening. Remember to comment down below on the video if you liked it. Like and share the podcast around to help the algorithm spread its influence to other people so that people can find me. Like and share all my socials. They'll be in the description down below. Remember, no gatekeeping. We don't gatekeep this community. If you like something, you're considered a fan of it. Don't let people tell you otherwise. And remember, when people ask you, what fangirl do you listen to? It is That Canadian Fangirl. Which Canadian Fangirl? That Canadian Fangirl. Alright, later peoples.